This is Chapter 6 of our Management for Church Leaders Volume Number 2 training. This chapter is entitled Developing Teams. The purpose of this chapter is to reinforce the importance of using teams within the church to foster relationships and accomplish church goals. Same is true for ministry. The teaching, again, should take about an hour, and make sure you leave enough time at the end for the exercise. The key points we share in this particular chapter are that developing teams build relationships among church members. Number 2, using teams create opportunities for leaders to emerge. And number 3, teams are more effective at solving church problems than individuals. A couple things to remember: not every project needs a team. Some activities are best handled by only one person, but if necessary, combine people to work together on a project. It will generally produce a better result. Number 2, using teams generally results in a more thorough solution, because you have multiple ideas and people working together, and there's some synergy between people as they talk about a particular project. And so this helps come up with probably the optimal solution to a particular situation that you're facing in your church or ministry. Like the other chapters, we begin with a scripture. This one's from Ecclesiastes chapter 4. And there's an open paragraph that you can read or paraphrase that describes what we're going to talk about in this particular chapter. The first section in this chapter is about why do we develop teams? What are some of the reasons that we should develop teams? And we go through 6 different reasons why we should develop teams. And it's one of the ways that Jesus built his ministry on teams. It's to distribute the workload, the collaboration of ideas. People have different skills and gifts they bring to a team that can be very helpful in coming up with good solutions. 5th, it will increase participation in ministry. If people are on teams, they're going to get more involved in ministry. And it also is a way for churches to develop more leaders, because often leaders emerge from working in teams. At this point, you can have the participants break down into groups of 3 or 4, and you can have them discuss this question. Make a list of ways to use teams in the church. Again, this is a way to get this discussion going so people can understand the different ways that you can use teams in a church. The next section, we talk about the purpose of teams. We list out 6 purposes that teams can be used for. One is project planning and execution. How about budgeting is another area. A third area is developing strategies for ministry. A 4th area might be to analyze church data on attendance or different things to come up with some type of analysis of what may be happening. Number 5, how about research? Maybe you want to do some research on a potential ministry opportunity. Maybe it's planning another church or starting a school. And finally, you can have teams that oversee ministries and help the leader conduct the various activities that they're doing in that particular ministry, to give them a sounding board and people that can help them lead that ministry. In the next section, we talk about the principles of teams, and we lay out 5 different principles. And you can go through the manual and teach these various principles using some illustrations, and make sure you talk about intentionality and identifying the expectations for each team that you might develop. The trainer manual then has a question that it asks, that you can have the group ask if you want to or not. That is, what are some of the consequences of ignoring those principles? What negative things can happen if we fail to do some of these things? The last section in this chapter is on how to develop teams, and we give you some suggested steps to go through. And we talk about, determining the focus and purpose, having a team leader designated, encouraging people to participate in these teams, holding them accountable for the results, rewarding and recognizing the success of the team, and also for the leader to perhaps attend some of the team meetings so they're involved in what this team is doing within the church and their ministry. And remember, don't forget to follow up. Don't leave teams on their own. It's important for you as the leader to make sure that you follow up with these teams. Finally, we have an exercise in this chapter as well, and it's a developing teams exercise. And here's where you can list up to 5 potential project teams in your church, who their leader might be, and who their team members might be. And this would be for you in your own particular, or for the participants in their own particular ministry or church to think about the teams that they might use in their own particular ministry. Thank you for watching this video on how to teach the chapter on developing teams.